Philo, when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. Hey, welcome to Conversations with Verdel Jones. I'm your host, Verdel Jones. As an educator at heart, I'm dedicated to sharing conversations that inform and enlighten in the hope, that you learn something you didn't know. And today is extra special because, of course, I have my co-host here, Jeremiah, joining us in studio.
Hey.
So we're going to have a great time, great conversation. We talked about, some things that we wanted to discuss tonight, and I think we're going to have a great show.
We're going to have a great show. We always have a great show.
We do. So one of the things I want to do before we get started is I want to thank our sponsor, Nancy Vargas Johnson. Nancy is a realtor. She is, she's a great person, a great realtor. She is in the Long Island area, so Nassau and Suffolk County. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, Nancy Vargas Johnson is the woman you want to call. So make sure you reach out to her if you're in the market to buy a home or sell a home.
Indeed.
And the other thing that I wanted to let everyone know is you can share this video. So as we're kind of, talking and doing our show, make sure you share the video with everyone so they could check it out too.
Yep.
And I also want everyone to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So because what I do is after this goes live, I download, and I edit and download the show to my YouTube channel, Deli Teach, DELITEACH, YouTube channel, and you can check out any new videos that come up.
Sounds good.
All right. So we know that Thanksgiving just passed.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
My favorite holiday. My favorite holiday.
Why is it your favorite holiday?
Well, I mean, just family, getting together with family, good conversation, great company with family, and eating.
Eating, right.
Delicious food all day long. And the next day.
And the next day. Right.
So, I mean, what, there's nothing better than that.
Right. One of the, and Thanksgiving by far is, my favorite holiday because of those reasons. And I was talking to, I was at a workshop, and the speaker was talking about Thanksgiving and how they set the ground rules at Thanksgiving that they were not going to talk about politics.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and I remember, like, even, back in the day, my mom always used to say, we are not talking politics at the dinner table.
Yeah, Shirley shuts it down.
Shirley shut it down. But we managed to get a couple of, things in there.
Well, because things are so crazy. I mean, I don't know. Everything, and you think about everything is politics.
Everything's politics.
Politics
right?
is everything.
Yeah.
And especially in these crazy times we're living in now, in some way, shape, or form, something was going to convert to talking about, what's going on as far as politics and the political spectrum. So, I mean, a few things. It wasn't too crazy, but, things.
The funny thing is, like, I remember my mother saying that in, maybe like 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
Stop talking about politics, all this. And now my mom talks a lot about politics.
Oh, she never talked about politics.
She never
before.
did.
But it's, just like everybody else, she's
right.
Watching CNN and
right.
MSNBC and talking about, when she comes over on Sundays, did you hear about what the Senate did?
Right.
It's like,
really?
Yeah,
okay.
Everybody. That's the conversation now because everything is so crazy.
It is a little
you
crazy.
You can't avoid it.
You can't escape it.
Yeah, you can't.
There's no escaping it. Like, I watch, in the morning we watch News 12. News 12 is a local, channel, Long Island, I forgot the slogan, but anyway, News 12, and there's straight news. And that's really like because no commentary or anything. That's the only place you can really get straight news without any embellishments.
Right. They just tell you, this is what's going on.
Right. And then, they save a cat in the tree.
Yeah, and then they go to the cat in the tree or out east to a winery or
right,
some chocolate fair or something. This is what such and such said. That's it.
So if you want to hear...
No opinion.
No, right. No embellishments.
No.
So if you want to hear just straight news, my suggestion would be listen to your local
Your
news
local
channel.
news channel, yeah. You go to the other stations and it's all opinions. Everybody's
Yeah.
opinion. Everybody,
Right.
lean in one way or the other or what have
That's
you.
right.
So
Yeah.
it's all opinion based. Their opinions based, based on whatever. So.
Right, exactly. So Thanksgiving was a good time. We had the traditional Thanksgiving foods, and we really we had so many leftovers, and we were full, and
We still got.
we still got some
Oh
things.
my God! Yeah, we gotta throw that stuff.
Yeah, we do. But so after a couple of days, I'm not a big leftover fan. But for Thanksgiving, I will eat it at least 2 days. That's like my max, though.
That's your max.
Yeah, that's my max,
After
and
that,
I'm done.
it's got to
Then
go.
I'm done. So
Greens for days.
we had a ton of greens.
Greens was
They were
banging.
good.
Greens was banging.
Jeremiah comes downstairs, like, cause I start really early, so he comes downstairs and he's like making all these noises. I'm
Oh
like,
my
what is
gosh.
going on?
It wakes you up because she gets up at 5 in the morning
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah,
go
yeah.
downstairs, man. So about 6:30, 7 o'clock, all of these fragrances and aromas start wafting upstairs. It's like you remember the cartoons like
Right.
Bugs Bunny floating in the air with the smoke,
Following the smell.
following the smell.
Right.
That's me. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it
And
was.
it's like, oh,
Yeah.
the house is just filled with that smell.
Right. So
Crazy.
so we were talking about one of the things we like, about Thanksgiving. Jeremiah mentioned it, and I feel the same way. Is the conversations, being with family. Like this was an interesting Thanksgiving because it was only like 11 of us, and I mean.
Yeah, I guess that's relatively small.
Yeah, I mean,
for
we
some
don't
people.
have too many more, but it was 11 of us.
Right.
And it was so interesting because it was like a close-knit group it's not usually like that, It was like just us kind of,
Right, it's usually about a handful more people than
Right.
maybe between 15 to 20
Right,
people.
yeah. So it was nice. We had great conversations, and that's one of the things that you said. Conversing with one another at the table and all of that is always a good time.
And jokes galore.
And we had so many jokes.
Who is this?
We had so many. We had such a good time.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I wanted to mention and kind of segue to is we had a discussion about Christmas.
Okay.
And what we want to do differently. We didn't bring it up, but we had talked about it with each other.
Okay.
And what we want to do differently in reference to and for those of you that are watching out there, I would love you to put comments in the feed, especially in reference to what we're going to be talking about, which is Christmas and giving gifts.
Right.
So one of the things that while we were sitting, conversing at the dinner table, my brother's girlfriend Lisa brought up that they had a discussion about gifts, giving gifts this year.
Okay.
And I really like the spin or the take they had on gift. Well, she had. I don't know if my brother was in total agreement.
No, well.
But
yeah,
but I did love what she kind of said.
Right. Yeah, she mentioned something about, in reference to, it's us as adults. Because now what it is there's not any kids. There weren't any kids at the Thanksgiving table, and we
Right.
don't have. There's maybe a small handful of actual children.
Yeah, not many at all.
Not many at all.
Right.
So as far as adults, we have just about everything we need in terms of gifts.
Exactly.
And if we don't have it throughout the year, we usually are able to buy it for ourselves.
And that's what we were saying.
Yeah.
We're able to do that. Go ahead.
Right. So you don't really need, because this is the thing. Every year it's a thing of, well, what do you want? You're like, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't really need anything. I don't know. And so it's this whole thing of trying to figure out what it is to get. So
Exactly.
I guess her idea was, instead of giving out monetary or a gift or whatever, let's gift what? Time?
Yeah, she had mentioned let's give the gift of time.
Right.
So one of the things she had said, which I thought was brilliant, was and I had mentioned right away when she said this that I like going to plays. I love going to plays. So why not all of us go together and go to a play instead of, and the other thing is, each household, whether it be Lisa and Rob, my mom and dad, me and Jeremiah, we have a bunch of stuff. Like just stuff everywhere. We don't need any more stuff. And the thing that we love the most is spending time with each other. So why not spend that money, actually going out or spending time together.
Right.
Yeah. Instead of like even gift cards, because what happens with gift cards? Either you end up spending more money than the gift card is for,
Right.
or you use that gift card on someone else.
Yeah. Well, no.
So, no,
I don't.
not you.
No. When I get a gift card, I use my gift card. I don't. You know, I get people gifts, but I don't use my gift cards for gifts. I get my stuff.
You get your stuff. Yeah, I have gift cards that I have for a long time.
Yeah, you hold on.
I hold on to them,
for like
and
years.
because I know what happens. I go to the store and I spend more money than I have on the gift card. So to avoid that, I just avoid using it.
I don't do that.
No, I know. You spend exactly to the penny.
Yeah, I find out exactly how much I have. Sometimes I go over
Right.
and have to put a couple dollars, but not much.
Yeah, but I think that gift of time. And we even said, before that, discussion for Thanksgiving about Christmas giving, we had said to each other that we would give the kids money as opposed to giving them a gift.
Right.
Because then they could do what they want to with the money, and I think they appreciate that. But
well, yeah, because like I just was saying, they're older. What I don't know, clothes, sneakers. I don't know.
Right. But let's just share the difference between the boy and the girl.
Okay.
So we said to Marcus, the boy, that we're going to give you cash for Christmas. This is the deal. You're getting money for Christmas. And he's like, okay, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
He was like, but, I wanted some sneakers. I said, oh, that's fine.
Right,
we can get you some sneakers or whatever.
Give him some cash.
So we'll give you cash and maybe something, a little something, right?
Yeah, something to open up.
Something to open up, right. So we shared that with Maya, the girl. And she said, I told her the same thing. We're going to give cash. But if you want something, a little something else, we can do that. That's not a problem.
Right.
And what did she text back?
What did she say? She wanted a phone,
an iPhone, right? An iPhone that's like $1,000, or a new computer, a new laptop,
a new Apple.
Yeah. So
a new Mac, which is like $2,000.
Right.
I don't think she got the concept.
Yeah, she didn't get the concept.
That's my baby. Don't talk about my baby.
I'm sorry. I just thought it was very funny that she had that kind of spin on it. Yeah, it was funny.
God bless.
Yeah, she's so cute. So we were talking about the Christmas gifts and all that. But another thing that kind of we're gonna talk a little bit about the justice system, because we've been talking, there's a lot going on in the news in reference to the justice system, and I guess the equality within the justice system. Is that the right word to use?
I guess equality. For lack of a better term.
Right.
I don't know. What's going on with the justice in terms of
right.
what's going on in the justice system. So.
And one of the things that is it has been in the news in reference to that is Meek Mill. So everybody knows. Maybe not everybody, but Meek Mill. What is he? Is he a rapper?
Oh no.
He's a performer.
You sound like you're 70 years old. Oh my gosh. Is he a rapper? Yes, he's a rapper.
Okay, so he's a rapper.
Yeah.
He's a rapper, and he. Okay, so what happened to him in a nutshell? Because he's been in the news, and the thing is, he was on probation, I guess, and then he violated his probation,
right?
And then he was sentenced. He had to, since he broke his probation, he had to go to jail.
He was sentenced.
He
to
was
2 to 4
sentenced
years.
to right. Okay.
To 2 to 4 years in jail.
Right, and what did he? And what's the full story? Because I know a little bit about it, but I don't know everything about it.
Well, I don't know. I may be off a little bit. I'm just going by. I know it was either 2008, 2009. He was arrested let's see, 2008 he had charges. I forgot exactly what it was. So he was arrested and he served, I don't know, how much time did he serve?
I don't know. I don't know how much.
Whatever the case may be, he might have served a year or 2 years, right?
Okay.
And he got out. He got out and he was on probation.
Right.
Now this is the thing in terms of him, because it's bigger than just Meek Mill. So
right, it is.
The situation is that these guys get these guys and women get these prison terms, and they get out on probation. Like he was on probation for like 10 years.
Right, he's been on probation for. Now, first of all, why is he on probation that long?
Right,
but
for
anyway,
that long. That's the thing.
Right.
And what happened was he did I don't know, he was riding a motorbike in New York City and,
Right.
and something else. I mean, he might have got to an altercation or whatever. And that, quote unquote, violated his probation. Yeah.
Probation.
Violated
Right.
his
Okay.
probation.
Right.
And this judge, who seemed like she had a vendetta, because that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other part of it.
Part
I know
of it.
it was something like she wanted him to put him in
Put
a record or something like that.
Say her
Right.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there was all these
Right.
things with her that was crazy.
Right.
But it was over, going overboard. She sentenced him 2 to 4 years. And even his...
From violating the
for
probation.
violating the probation.
Right, okay.
And even his probation officer testified on his behalf. Is like, he's good. This is crazy. So now you have all the Meek Mill movements and people trying to get him out or whatever, because it was excessive. But this goes on. I mean, this is the case with him. But this is,
Yeah.
this has been going on forever as far as these young men and women get these, these prison terms and they get out and get on probation. Like, well, how can you put somebody on probation for 10 years?
Right.
And you're supposed to, and now the thing is, violating probation could be something as simple. The things that you can do to violate probation are not,
Crazy.
a lot of them are not even like crimes. In other words, so your person who is not on probation to do these things and nothing would happen to them, but since you're on probation, from getting out of jail or whatever, you get sent back to prison
For
these
something
offenses,
that
something
you
real
probably
minor.
wouldn't go to jail
no,
for.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
And for somebody to be, these small offenses, for somebody to be, watched like that for 10 years, that's like insane.
Yeah.
So it's just begging for these men and women to get back, sent back to prison. It's
Right.
crazy. So.
It's as if they're looking for them to do something
Right,
to
put them back in prison.
Right.
Right, when they're trying to, get out and, do positive things, and they get sent back to prison on some crazy,
crazy nonsense.
Right. Incident, and it's insane. So.
Right. So, we were also talking in reference to that as well, the probation system and all that, but we were also talking about, lack of resources, lack of money really has an impact in the justice system. And it was just so, the story about Khalif Browder, who he was a young man, 16 years old. He went to jail for, he was a teenager. Went to jail, went to Rikers Island on a charge, I think it was for theft. And because he wasn't able to make bail, he was kept in prison. And his trial kept on getting pushed back or delayed.
Right.
So he remained in prison for a number of years.
Right.
And the charges were dropped.
Right.
And he got out. And while he was in prison, the thing is, this is a child going, and we have to say it's a child. It's a 16-year-old that's still considered a child. He's not an adult.
Right.
He went through horrific conditions in Rikers Island.
Yeah, beat up by the prisoners and gangs, and beaten up by
the
officers, the
correctional
officers.
Stuff. He was also in solitary confinement.
Right, for 800 days.
For a long period, 800 days. I mean,
he spent a total of 800 days in solitary confinement.
Right. And so what happened was I'll finish. He got out of jail, and he ended up committing suicide because he had depression and anxiety and post-traumatic stress from being under those conditions at Rikers Island.
Right.
And his mother, I believe, a year after that, she died, and she had a heart attack.
Going through stress, dealing with his situation.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And the thing is, this is the thing, because it's all about payola. It's all about the money.
Right.
The bail, it was $900 bail that he couldn't come up with. $900.
$900.
Yeah. So he stayed in prison for, I don't know, what is it, 3 years?
I think it was 3
total?
years, yeah.
And they kept pushing, a lot of foul stuff kept happening to him. They kept pushing his date back for his hearings, keep pushing him back, which is crazy how they can do that. And they was asking him to plead guilty, and they would let him out.
Right, that's right.
He maintained, he maintained his innocence the whole time. That's why he spent so much time in jail. He didn't want a cop to, because that's what happens. They say, like, I don't know, somewhere between 70 to 80%, maybe even more, of offenses are pleaded out. People don't go to, they don't go to court. People don't go to court.
That's right.
People plead out because they don't want to spend time in jail. They're like, you know what, let me go ahead and get this sentence or whatever it is, and get it out the way. So, because they don't want to go to trial and something happens and they think they're going to get more time. But he knew he was innocent, you know. He knew he was innocent of the charges, so he didn't want to cop to those offenses. So he was like, you know, I don't care. I'm going to do what I got to do. And so he spent all that time in prison, and then they finally let him out because they didn't. The person who he supposedly stole the backpack from left the country.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, me and Maya, we watched the documentary, I don't know, it was like four to six parts on, we was talking about this today, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And it was heartbreaking, man.
It's sad.
It was heartbreaking to watch that documentary and listen to the things that this young man, 16 years old, 16, a baby. And so, you know, and he knew himself that he was mentally, even though he was he got let go, he was free, and they were talking about bringing a civil case against the city. He was like, he knew he was mentally broken. He tried to commit suicide while he was
I read that.
While he was in
prison.
A number of times. And then when he got out, he still, because he was, the things that he saw and the things that he went through, just mentally, come on, his mind was so, you know, that's a 16-year-old boy.
Right.
Everybody
with
can't
men.
deal with that. Yeah. Well.
Right?
Nah.
Well, it wasn't with men?
Well, he was with, I don't think he was, he was in the, I forgot the name of the detention center. He was with other.
Because I know they've done, wasn't there some law that was just passed in reference to that?
But, you know, they were young, hardened gang members and criminals, but he was being abused by them as well as the COs who were men. Who were, you know, treating them all. It's just a sad situation.
But the thing that really, you know, gets me, it's you're talking $900 to post bail to be able to get out.
Yep.
And because you don't have the resources, you don't have the funds to be able to pay that, and you don't want to plead guilty because you didn't do this crime.
You didn't do this crime, and you don't want that stain on your record or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because that's a whole other thing. Right.
And it's $900. And what we were talking about it's like, you know, we know people who got into trouble for doing certain things, and they spent maybe the night they got arrested in jail, and that's it. Right. Because they had the resources and the funds to be able to get out. Yeah. And that to me is just, it's tragic.
Yeah, it's like the whole criminal, you know, justice system is one big money grab.
Money game, yeah, it's one big money grab,
trying to get money. You know?
I mean, with the highest prison, our country,
that's
prison
most
population,
incarcerated people in the world, in the United States, no question.
And it's a big, it's all about the money.
Yeah, it's a big money grab. You know? Courts are backed up. You know, that's why his trial kept getting put off, and people just playing out. Meanwhile, these are people's lives that are, you know, at stake. People sitting in prisons and messed up with this. You know, it led to a situation now. I think they're closing Rikers now, right?
I know there was something to have to do with Rikers, definitely. You know, it's just sad, and a lot of times it's the poor, poor among us, those without the funds that get caught up in this. Right. And, you know, and it's kind of a vicious cycle.
It is.
You know, it really, really is. So how do you, you know, so then the question becomes, and, you know, listening to, you know, Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, you know, we could talk about these things, but what can we do about it? You know, I don't have the answer to that, but what can we do about it? There's so many different programs I know that are out there to try to, you know, assist people and help them, but how do we as a society, like, try to rectify this or make it better or help each other out in it,
That's the big question, right?
Right.
And when it comes to all of these problems and issues, it's like, well, what can I do about it?
Right.
You know, that's the number one question when it comes to any of these things. What can I do to make things change? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know, vote. I don't know.
Well, vote is a big deal. You know, I mean, you have to vote. You know, and we're gonna, when we talk about the next topic, we can talk about voting. But, you know, I think that's a major part of it. So if you're old enough to vote, nobody's telling you who to vote for, but we're telling you need to vote. You know, vote for what's right. Vote for your interests.
Right.
You know, vote for your
That's what
interests.
a lot of people in this country don't do. They don't vote their interests. They vote. They think they're voting.
But they're not.
But they're not. Unfortunately, you're not. You're being duped.
So yeah,
You think you're voting for your interests, but
vote
you're
your
not.
interests, and know what it is, know what it's about.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard to do research. You know, no, let me take that back.
No.
It's not hard to do the research, but it does take effort to do the research,
Right.
and that's what you need to do when you're talking about putting people in these positions that have so much power.
Right.
And the local elections are so important.
Right.
Don't sit out on those local elections because they really make a big difference too.
Yeah. Well, going back to what we was talking about with Thanksgiving and politics, right?
Right.
Because I mean, I think we stated it here before. I mean, with me, because I watched the news and all that stuff all the time. When I was younger, you couldn't get me near a news channel or a news station or nothing like that. I couldn't care
When
less.
the 60 Minutes music
returns,
I'm out.
Like, hey, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not trying to hear none of no news. Whatever. What was it? No, I don't want to date myself. Was it like Fred Flintstone went off, then the news came on, or something like that?
You were done.
Yeah, I was done. But in any case, everything, like now, politics, it's like, you don't want to talk politics at the table.
Right.
Everything, politics is life.
It is life.
Politics
Yeah,
is
You're
our
right.
life.
You're right. Yep.
It's
right.
what's going on with you, your family, your love, what's going to happen.
Because it impacts you.
It impacts you. So, if,
From
it's
the
just
road
life.
having a pothole to,
Yep, for
to
there
major
being money,
things.
exactly. For there being money for the
Yeah,
pothole filling,
right,
your
yeah.
car gonna get busted, or your gas prices going up.
Right.
It's all politics.
all
Food,
politics.
you know what I'm saying? Everything.
What they put in the food.
What they put in the food, what you're eating.
What you're
I'm telling you,
eating,
your
yeah.
kids going to school.
That's right.
You got buses,
That's
teachers
right.
getting laid off.
Right. Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
Everything
Yeah,
is
it is.
politics. Your
Everything.
home, mortgage, and taxes. It's
Taxes.
all It's all politics.
Yeah. Right. So you have to pay attention.
So you got to be aware. You just gonna, you can't just be sitting thinking, all right, God bless you. I know there's something I don't deal in politics. Well, all right, if you don't deal in politics per se, you got to deal in life.
Right.
Because life is dealing with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless of if you deal in politics or not, politics is dealing with you.
I like that. You got to deal with life.
That's my. You
because
like that?
life is dealing with you.
You like that?
I like that.
Oh, okay. All right, well, you can keep that one.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you. I appreciate
That's
that.
one you put in your little.
Because I'll use it.
No.
I will use it.
You get a little shirt.
Watch your mic there. But so, and what you can do. I mean, there's other things that and just thinking because I want to move on to the next thing. But one of the things that we talked about a couple of shows ago. Maybe it was the last show. Not us, but I have Felicia Fort on with us. She called in, and she wrote a book about mentoring.
Right.
And that's something that I think is a powerful thing to do because the mentors really can work with kids so they won't be in those situations, hopefully, that are, detrimental to them. And it could be as simple as I'm taking them out of their environment or I'm showing them something different so they can have exposure to want to do different things and be out of that environment for a little bit,
Right.
So we talked to her about the, mentoring. So I think mentoring is a great way to kind of help with the situation.
Okay. Right.
But we were talking about voting, and one of the things that also is in the news that has been, it has been everywhere, and it's just, every day.
What's that?
Sexual harassment.
Ooh.
So when you're talking about voting and all you people that are in Alabama, getting ready to vote, it really, I'm not surprised by all of the sexual harassment cases that we're hearing about.
Chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah, but it is very overwhelming.
It is over. It's like by the time we get out of this show today, there's going to be about 2 more people
that's going to be accused of
that's
something.
Gonna be, I'm telling you, that somebody's going to come out. I'm telling you. And
Right,
I'm not saying that about your boxing.
That's good.
And that's not saying it against that the woman shouldn't.
Right.
But I'm just saying that's just how pervasive and
Yes.
how extensive this is. Going back since the beginning of
Right. Right.
interactions between men and women.
Right.
You know, men in power situations, and some men not even in power situations that think they, you know what I'm saying? think they have the right to do crazy,
whatever they want.
Yeah, think they got the right to do
but let's
crazy
check this
things.
out. So
right.
so you have all of these. Okay, Harvey Weinstein. That was like the the big one where everybody was like, oh my goodness, you know, oh wow, you know. But meanwhile, everybody in Hollywood knew about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knew.
Right.
Then you had Kevin Spacey, who comes out, and I mean, this really annoyed me when he said he was accused, and then he came out of the closet, like that's
trying to equate that.
It was just I don't understand why he did that. It was not a good thing for him to do.
No, trying to equate being homosexual with pedophilia, because it was a young boy.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was a young.
So
the guy was a young boy when he
when it happened. Right. Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
well, yeah, I'm about. But it's like,
what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, trying to equate the two.
It was just. I mean, just boom. He was done.
Crazy. It was crazy.
He was done. So you have Harvey Weinstein. You have Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Then you have who's the guy who just Matt Lauer. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we missed. I don't know the timeline.
We're missing. Yeah, right. But I'm just saying. So I'm just talking about people like in Hollywood.
Russell Simmons.
Well, yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah. Right. So you have all these people in Hollywood.
I mean, I'm missing Brett Ratner. We're missing.
There's been a bunch. There's a lot.
I mean, it's a bunch.
There's a lot.
Okay.
So you have these people in Hollywood, right?
Okay.
So these people in Hollywood, once it happens, right? I mean, you can even go back to Billy Bush. He was fired. Mm-hmm. For having a conversation with Donald Trump then.
Right.
And he was fired.
Right.
You have Harvey Weinstein.
Trump was elected. Right. But anyway.
Right. I'm going to get to the politicians. But done. Right? Harvey Weinstein found out. Done. Matt Lauer fired. So what I'm trying to say is, and and the argument has been made, and I mean Roger Ayers and Ailes and Bill O'Reilly. Mm-hmm. I mean, so all these TV people, they were. It may have taken a little bit long because we don't know exactly when the accusations were, but they were fired. Right, but exactly.
Okay.
So I'm saying so these people are let go. So it's if we could say it's swift because we don't know the timing, but they said Matt Lauer they knew a long time, Harvey Weinstein they knew a long time.
What do you mean Matt Lauer they knew a long time?
In other words, these accusations happened in 2014, right?
Matt Lauer?
Mm-hmm. With the whenever the Winter Olympics happened.
Oh well, no. With all of these things, I'll say it like this, because with all of these things, a lot of these women had said things at that particular time, going even back further with them. They say things and people know at the time of the the infraction when it happens.
Right.
But as far as them stepping up now, to do something, it's just recent now. That as far as Matt Lauer, I mean, everybody, and this is the case a lot, especially in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like you said with Weinstein, everybody knows. Like they're just coming out now. This, I don't know, it was the New York Times, Washington Post, something like that. New York something was saying, one of those papers was saying that everybody on the set knew about Matt Lauer and what he had. I heard something. Were you listening? He had like a button under his desk that closes and locks the door.
Stop it.
No, I'm dead serious.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So when these coworkers get on TV and I'm horrified.
Yeah, like Savannah Guthrie.
Yeah, I'm horrified.
Really?
She knew.
Of course she knew.
Now, come on, first of all, you're gonna tell me all these different women, they didn't say anything to the people on the staff. The staff knew. Right. Everybody knew.
Right.
So they get in front of the TV. Oh, I'm horrified. They're not. They know.
They know. They have to know.
They know. It was the biggest joke in Hollywood was about Weinstein.
Right. Yeah. We were talking to Marcus. Yeah. Excuse me. Last night, and we were saying. I was sharing with him that I heard something that Seth MacFarlane, Family Guy, the Family Guy creator, on the Family Guy, he would have jokes about these people. He had a joke about Harvey Weinstein on his show. Kevin Spacey. So he kind of it
was an ongoing joke.
Right, it was an ongoing thing. So what we were saying is, if we just kind of look at some of the Family Guy episodes, we can probably expose
who the next person's
going to be, right?
Probably right.
But so I say that because, and I mentioned the entertainers, because now it's the politicians, and you can go back to, you know, I mean, you can go back since probably, like you said, since
The beginning
of
politics.
right.
Men have been inappropriate with women, I'm sure.
Right. So now you have these politicians now with all these accusations and things coming out about them, but they still remain in their positions.
Right. And like, what does it take for them to?
Right.
I mean,
and why is it so different? Like, why? Why would
do
they be?
have to be? They have to be asked because we looking at the news the other night.
Yeah.
And I think they were talking about Conyers, and they were like, "Well, what is it going to take?" And what did the guy said? He said something.
Oh, he has to like make. He's
responsible to resign. He has to resign. It's like, well, how come they can't make him leave?
Right. Exactly.
He has to resign.
Exactly. Here's a guy who's been in. Nancy Pelosi got a lot of flack for calling him an icon.
Which he is.
I mean, he is, but like we were saying today, he's been there for 50 years.
Yeah,
so
he about 97 years old.
He should have done something in those 50 years.
Right.
So
like
of course he's right, because he was around. I mean, he was around Brown versus Board. Like he was around, right, for a long time.
He's been around doing some iconic things, but he's been in office. But still, I mean, when you go, walking around with your pants off in the office. You know what I'm saying? That negates, a lot of that work. You can't be sitting there with your little stuff hanging out talking about come here. In the office, that's an inappropriate work setting.
It's an inappropriate work setting.
I mean, come on. You think you don't know that?
And the stories that are being told about what's happening, they're so egregious. Like they are just out.
I mean, these people are
outrageous.
These people are crazy. Like, Charlie, we forgot about Charlie Rose.
Oh, Charlie Rose, yeah.
The things that these guys are doing is crazy, above and beyond.
Beyond the pale, right?
It's just, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what these guys, and it's not, because that men do certain things, and obviously it's not all men. And because all right, let me just share real quick.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with some coworkers, and we were talking about it, the whole thing, and some of them were getting, a little up. Oh well, we, all this stuff going on now. We're gonna have to start, watching what we say.
Right.
We can't do this, and it's getting out of hand. It's like, I'm like, nah, I had to step in. I'm like, come on. You don't have to stop watching what you say. You know what I'm saying? Not unless you walk around the office with your stuff hanging out. You know what I'm saying? You go around patting women on the butt and, saying things, unwarranted things to women. Yeah, rolling up on women saying crazy stuff.
You should be okay.
You should be okay. It's not hard. It's really not. You think this is, acceptable? I'm like, I told him, I said, you go, if your wife or your daughter's workplace, you want, her coworker in the next cubicle or whatever to be harassing her, you know what I'm saying?
Flashing her or
going
whatever.
to the water cooler with his pants off, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's...
No,
my man. Really?
But that's the crazy things that these guys were doing. Like, just these outrageous things that you wouldn't even think that somebody would do in their workplace.
Thinking it's all right.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and a lot of these men, men in power positions, so, they're like, yeah, you either going to do this or, you're going to be in trouble. I heard that, like, with Matt Lau, he, like, repamented a woman because she didn't want to do whatever he wanted to do.
Right, that was last night. We were reading, looking at that.
It's crazy. It's like, you think that's all right? You really think that's all right? Like I was saying with the gentleman I was talking to, I was like, all right, if you're flirting with a woman, back and forth and everything, being cutesy or whatever, that's a totally different thing.
Cutesy.
Yeah, you like that.
That's cute.
Yeah. But being inappropriate is a whole
different thing.
And you when you're being inappropriate.
Right, absolutely.
So there's no
because it's uncomfortable for everybody.
It's uncomfortable for everybody. There's no place for that. They should know that. But some guy, it's too much.
So what does this mean? Like, how, and I was thinking about this today. I'm like, how far is this gonna go?
I don't know. Well, another thing they say, how come they're just coming out now? How come they didn't say something back in the, and that They did. A lot of these women,
of
if you
them.
listen to their story,
Right.
they did say something back then.
Yeah. They were either
But-
paid, somebody paid them, they had to sign non-disclosure agreements and all that too, you know?
Well,
I mean,
a lot of these politicians.
yeah, a lot of. How much money did
And that's
did the government pay?
That's a whole other thing.
To kind of pay people off.
What was it, 15 million?
It was millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars, right?
I don't know how
Taxpayer,
much millions, but it was millions of
taxpayer money
dollars.
that they pay out.
Come on.
That's just incredible that they're allowed to do this. If they are paying these women off to be quiet or whatever the case may be, it should come out of their pockets. It shouldn't come out of any taxpayer money. And then the other Congress people, they're talking about, well, they don't know about this. How do they not? Everybody in Congress know, because they say all this money being paid out. Right.
They're gonna, there's a report about it.
Exactly.
You know.
So there's no way in the world that these other people did not know or don't know who these people are that paid.
Right.
That's false. That's totally false, and they should not use taxpayer money to pay. And the public, if you're going to use taxpayer money, we have the right to know who these people are.
I would think so.
I would think so, but they're able to do whatever they want to with
Yes,
our
that's
money.
why they're still in office.
And that's why they're not right.
Look
they're
how
still
long
in
it
office.
took.
Ethics committee. That's what they got to wait for.
Look how long it took for Anthony Weiner to be like,
Yo,
bye-bye.
Yeah, he was wilding. Anthony Weiner was wilding.
Yeah, a politician.
You know what I'm saying?
And it took him. I mean, he fought the good fight as far as for, you know.
Well, that's the same thing as Kanye's.
Right. Yeah.
He, as far as I guess if you lean toward his brand of politics,
right.
He was a fire starter. He fought. He had a lot of good things going on. But you can't be sexting little girls, man.
Right.
You can't do it. That just shuts down everything else.
Everything.
You can't do it. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's just a mess.
It's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess. What we were listening to, I was listening to, Jeremiah just happened to be there, to Armstrong Williams. Yeah. So I listen to Armstrong. I listen to Urban View, and I just listen to all the shows on Urban View.
Yeah, he comes on after
Karen Hunter. Yeah. So I listen to Armstrong.
I can listen to an alternate point of view.
Jeremiah teases me because he thinks I'm like a closet Republican, but the thing is,
Nah, I used to say that back when
I used
Republicans,
to listen
when Republicans were somewhat sane.
Right.
I don't call you that now.
No.
Well,
but I mean, I used to, in full disclosure, about, I would say maybe 20 years ago, I listened to Hannity. Yeah. I mean, but it just went too crazy. Yeah. But anyway,
I didn't.
No, he didn't. But anyway, we'll listen to Armstrong, and Armstrong was talking about, can we just like wipe the slate clean and start
initially,
over?
yeah, about a month ago, right?
Right, it wasn't even a month ago.
Yeah,
it seemed like a month ago.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he was because.
Can we just wipe the slate clean and everybody gets a free pass and we start from zero? Like no.
No, but it's happening so much that it's like.
That's what it's
What are
gonna
we
be.
going to do? What are we going to do? You got to deal with it.
You know what? With anything, you got to deal with you got to get all the infection out.
Yeah.
Clean
it
out
up.
the wound.
Clean it up. That's right.
And then start fresh. Put a new bandage on it and start fresh. You got to clean out the infection first. You can't put a Band-Aid over the infection.
No, you can't. You're
and
right.
say, let's start over, and then you still got all of these things going on. You know.
And it's so pervasive.
You got to talk to you got to start talking to these men when they're boys and young men and explaining to them, you know what I'm saying, the way you can, the way you approach women and what you can and can't do when you're talking to the young girls and then eventually women, you know what I'm saying, and how you got to approach them, man. It's like, is this, I don't know, obviously it's a power thing, but I mean, you got to look at it too, like it's like, do you think you got game? Is this your rap? This is your.
You think that's change it up?
Yeah, you think this is gonna win you over? Saying things and doing things like that. You think that's gonna get you?
There's two things that I want to
crazy.
Kind of piggyback on. You said that it's important that we talk to our young men and our young women as well, but specifically our young men to teach them how they should act and what they should do and all that. And it reminds me of the work that Byron Hurt does. He goes to colleges and he speaks to college students, but he talks about these issues.
Right.
And that's really that's the kind of work that I think men that are, you know, and you don't even have to be conscious. You just have to be a man who cares about women.
Right, who cares about women, right.
To
You know,
be
some
able,
common sense and
right,
cares about women.
Right, to be able to speak to
Right.
young boys and young men about like just what you said.
Right.
And I love the work that he's doing because and he's passionate about it and really wants to make sure that these young guys really understand it, you know. And that's something I think is so needed. So that was one thing that I wanted to say about that, and I can't remember what the other thing is because I'm no, it was in reference to you know, to what we were just talking about. But
As far as what?
just in reference to teaching our young men about, you know, these things. You had brought up a really good point one time, and I just can't remember exactly what it was, but in speaking about what we can do, because I think we do have to start asking ourselves more and more and more, what can we do to have an impact, to change this? And I think it really starts with, you know, being able to talk to our young boys about this, you know, at all levels.
Yeah.
You know, fathers being present and being, you know, accountable to their children.
Right, leading by example, but I mean that's a whole thing, man.
Right, leading by example, but
And having these conversations.
right, it's important.
Very important, because you see where it's leading to now. I mean, and it's not going away anytime soon.
No, I don't think so.
It's not going. It's a whole thing going on now.
Right, I don't think
and
so.
I'm there's a in the halls of Congress, in the Senate, and in Hollywood, and in music, there are a lot of shook men right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shook.
Well, why do you think Russell Simmons came out with the quickness?
Yeah.
He doesn't want, you know, he stepped down from his company.
I'm telling you.
You know, and it's going to happen. There's so many things that are going on and that have gone on that are going to be exposed, and I don't know what that looks like.
It looks like there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be out of position. There's going to be a lot of openings, a lot of job openings.
So does that mean that women are going to be in more powerful positions because of how this plays out?
That might be the case too.
You know?
You've seen what happened in the elections that just happened a couple of weeks back.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of women that was
that
elected, and I think that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. You need that balance.
Yeah, for sure.
You definitely need that
You
balance.
see what's going on with all these crazy damn men up in these positions. You see where we at now. You know, I don't mind at all.
Right.
I'm all for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We need a little, you know, like you said, a balance.
A balance.
We need some, you know. A lot of
too much aggression. We need the female energy in there. Right?
Yeah, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, come on, moms, man, come on now. Moms take care of everybody. They take care of everything. So we need some moms to step in and take care of this damn country and this earth. Because you know, us men, man, we
I know.
It's just come on, y'all. We're crazy right now.
So. We have we're out of time.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know.
Quick.
It goes by quick,
when
right?
You're having fun.
When you're having fun. So I want to thank everybody out there for watching our show. You know, I love having Jeremiah here with me on the show.
I love being here. I love doing this. It's fun.
You know, I'm trying to convince him to do some more, but we're gonna just do. He's good with what we're doing right now, so I'm excited that he's here.
Listen, give us some feedback. If y'all think, put it out to the people.
Okay, put it out to the people.
If you guys think that we should continue on with this show, you guys appreciate this show, I don't know, show us some love. What, on YouTube? I don't know where the show's going to be. You can give us feedback.
Write in the comments on this show.
You can write in the comments. If you guys like what we're talking about, like what we're doing.
Right.
Comment. Let us know. Just give us a little feedback.
Right. You can tweet me at DeliTach, DeliTach.
I won't see that. But
he won't see that. So he'll see it on Facebook. So you can always reach out to us on Facebook. Conversations with Verdel Jones Facebook page. You can let us know and subscribe to that, or not subscribe, like that. Conversations with Verdel Jones. So again, we want to thank you for joining us. We really, we really have a good time and like to talk about some, some
it's
good
fun.
things.
bringing our dinner and home conversation to the masses. I think it's fun. So, thank you.
So I want to have everyone have a great night, and I just want to end by saying thank you to Nancy Vargas Johnson, realtor in the Long Island area, Nassau and Suffolk County. Nancy Vargas Johnson. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, you can check her out right there. And without further ado, I guess we'll say good night and thank you for watching.
What up, Mr. Searles? I see you.